everyone, welcome to episode 20 of What's Up Biscot Yarns with Julie. I'm your host Julie, filming from our store in Northvale, New Jersey. Welcome or welcome back, whichever the case may be. Today I will be sharing with you 4 different patterns using 4 different Biscot yarns, as well as a few merchandise. So I am going to start today's episode with one of those merchandise because I am such a believer of this product. This is called a Gleaner. It looks like this. So it's a sweater cleaner for the most part. I bought this earlier on this year, thinking I was going to clean out all my sweaters, de-pill them and whatever, when the weather was getting warmer, and stow it away properly, and also clean my couch with it. I'll elaborate on that in a second. But yeah, that never happened. Oops. But 2 days ago, I took this out of my closet and I cleaned out one of my cashmere sweater because I needed to use it for a photo shoot. And that sweater was a cashmere and virgin wool blend, and it pilled a lot, which I was kind of bummed out about. It was vintage yarn. That yarn was older than me. It was, my mom bought it in the late 60s. So it's like way older than me. But anyway, I used it on that cashmere wool sweater, which had a lot of pills, with this end, with an attachment, and it took away all the little pill balls like magic. So this product comes with 3 different attachments, and they are numbered 1, 2, and 3. And it also comes with a little booklet that explains to you what you use each of those attachments for. So for my sweater, which is kind of fine, I used the number 2. The booklet told me to use number 2, and it worked perfectly. So the sweater didn't have those little pill balls anymore, but it still looked old because of I don't know what the word is, but it's not like halo-y, like alpaca or like mohair, but there is like this wool haziness where the stitch definition is kind of hidden because, it's been used. So after I ran it through with the attachment, then I kind of polish it up with the other end of the product. This is not detachable, this is just fixed. And I polished it, I ran it through after I de-pilled it. And let me tell you, that sweater looked like it's fresh off my needles. The stitch definition was very clear. It looked brand new. I kid you not. That's why I'm like so blown away by it. I don't want to make this sound like an infomercial for this product. I think I am, but I am really stoked about it. I really think that it's worth the purchase. So really quickly, I said that there are 3 different attachments, and I used the number 2 on my fine gauge sweater. So the number 1 is for thicker fabric. So if you have like a chunky or bulky weight yarn sweater, you would use the number 1 on that. And earlier I said I was going to clean my couch with it. So one of my couch is almost 10 years old, and it was very heavily used, and it still is being used heavily. So it has a lot of little pill things on it. I haven't used this on that yet, although I can. And that's what I said earlier. I intended to clean my couch with it. So you would use the number 1 attachment for that. Number 2 we already talked about, and then there is a number 3 attachment, which is for even more fine fabric like silk. I haven't used it on my silk yet. I don't think I have any silk pieces that needs de-pilling or freshening up, but supposedly you could use this for that. So it's called, again, the Gleaner. You can grab it in our physical store. We have quite a few in stock, and also on our website. And I'll throw links in the description box below, like everything else that I do. I will share with you not 1, but 2 sock patterns today. And the first one is this one, 'Tis the Season. It's called Claws for Thought, designed by Lara Smoot. Let me bring it closer to the camera. So you can see the stranded colorwork motif are cats and bats. So up here, it kind of looked like a heart, a black heart at first glance, but I think they're actually bats. Super spooky. Halloween is just around the corner, and I thought it would be fun to show you guys this oldie but goodie sock pattern. So for the colorways for this model is the dark gray or dark charcoal, I guess, charbon. Yeah, charbon. I'm guessing it means charcoal in French. It looks like charcoal, it's very dark. And then the other one, the self-striping yarn is called Granny Smith. We don't sell the Granny Smith self-striping yarn individually, but you could get this exact colorway if you purchase the kit. So it only comes exclusive as the kit. So the kits would include the pattern and both the solid color and this very specific Granny Smith exclusive self-striping yarn colorway. But if for some reason you don't want to or you don't need to get this in this exact colorway because you want to mix and match your own, and that's totally fine because you could purchase the pattern independently. That's for sale on our website, and then you can just match your own color. And I thought I would show you like a sample of what it might be. So I'm using the same charcoal color, and then I pull out this self-striping yarn color because I thought, well, it kind of looks autumny and Halloweeny. And that yarn, that self-striping yarn, will look like this when you knit it in a sock, like a sock tube. So just to give you a reference here, the possibilities, but it could be, of course, like whatever way you want it to be. So the pattern comes in one size only, the 64 stitch sock, if you will, but there are recommendations in the pattern for you to knit loosely because the stranded color work, we talked about it in the last couple of episodes, it's not very stretchy and giving. So especially, you know, being sock, you want to make sure that you can pull it, you know, past your heel and your instep. So if this is rather tight, when your gauge is, you know, smaller, then you might not be able to or would have a really hard time getting it onto your feet properly. So just make sure your tension is just right when you're doing your stranded color work. Not too tight, not too loose, because if it's too loose, then you're gonna have really loose flow inside, and then you're gonna probably like stick your toes in there and, you know, ruin it. So a little bit tricky, but probably not a good idea if you're a first time working with stranded color work for sock. So here's the pattern, and those are the yarns. And oh, I didn't talk about the construction, I'm sorry. So this is a cuff down pattern. So you start with the dark color, doing some 1x1 ribbing. You knit about, seems like 1 inch to me. And then you switch over to the self-striping color. And then you do all that in that color work motif here. By the way, this leg part, this color work is not written out. The pattern is not written out, but it is in a chart form. So just to give you a heads up on that. And then the heel is done, and it's just traditional heel flap. And then once that is done, in the contrasting dark color, you go back to using the self-striping yarn to do the leg part or the foot part, and it's all the same, just plain stockinette all around for this pattern because the fun stuff is up here on the leg, and there is no, like, you know, cable or lace or whatever to carry through. And then finally you go back to the contrasting color, the dark color, when you get to the toe part to do your toe decreases, Kitchener stitch to sew up the toe, and then you do a rinse and repeat for the second sock. So again, that's called Claws for Thought. So that's sock number 1 pattern. I will save the second sock pattern for later on in the show. But before I dive into another pattern, I do want to talk about another product that we carry. They are super cute, super helpful, and they would make super good stocking stuffers. They are, I don't know how to hold it. I have to hold them individually. They are the stoppers. So here's this guy. There are many different varieties. And then there's this guy, little sheep. And then I was showing you this kind of retro, your Volkswagen van thing. And got fruits, pineapple, and there are also strawberries and watermelon. There are a lot of different varieties. And they're only $3 each, so it's a pretty good deal. So I am currently using it on one of my many whips. This was yarn that I bought when I was vacationing in Toronto a little while ago. I made it a point to buy local yarn there, whatever city or country that I visit, as a little souvenir. So anyway, I'm working on a sweater. It was, you know, this is like the top part. And then now I got to the part where I need to connect it at the underarm so that I can, you know, go around. But before, I was supposed to hold one side of it on scrap yarn. I don't usually do that. And a couple of episodes ago, I shared with you the barber cord. And I tried using that on this, but this was a little bit tricky to get the barber cord through. So what I do, which is what I usually do, I work with interchangeable. I have 2 sets of interchangeable needles. These are my Addi ones from a very long time ago. So what I do is I just leave the stitches onto the cord that I was just knitting from, and then I detach the 2 needles, and then I pop it onto another cord, and then I do what I need to do. So that way I don't have to bother transferring the stitches, you know, to and fro. It's just there. And then when I need to knit this, if I happen to need to start working from here, then I just put the needles back on and then continue on. However, I'm using these, the stoppers on either end. Here's Harry and Hermione, to prevent the stitches from falling off while they are being on hold. So not only can you use them on the tip of your knitting needles, but also for the purpose that I'm just showing you right now. So very useful. I think they're very cute. They're very fun. I mean, you could just use these generic candy cane looking, not candy cane, candy cone, or like those, what do you call those? Like the traffic cones. Oh well. I mean, they work, but I don't know. I think these guys are way more fun. So these are available both on our website at BiscotYarns.com as well as in all of our stores, physical stores. Next up, let's talk about the sweater that I am wearing. It is called the Thunder Cloud, designed by Kristen ten Dyke. She used our Hagrid from Biscot Yarns Hagrid line, and this is in the colorway gray on gray. And Hagrid is comprised of 85% superwash merino and 15% of Donegal. The sweater is knitted using 2 needle sizes, US 7 or 4.5 millimeter, and the main body is knitted with US 9 or 5.5 millimeter knitting needles. And the gauge is 17 stitches for the 4-inch swatch, using the in stockinette stitch. The pattern is graded for 9 different sizes, ranging from 36.5 inches for the smallest size up to 66.5 inches for the largest size. So that's pretty size inclusive, and the fit is really comfortable. It's loose, but it's not baggy. And the construction, like the lay of it is pretty good too. Actually, you know, why don't I stand up and show you, and then we'll talk more about it, or I can talk about it while I show you. So here is the back side. The cable pattern is all around the front and the back, but not on the sleeves. So the construction, you start, the sleeve and the body are worked separately. The pattern starts with the sleeves first, from the cuff up. So you would cast on X number for the sleeve, and then you would do shaping all the way up, and then you leave, stop around at the underarm. And then you would do the same for the other sleeve, and then you would do the body. The body, you start from the bottom, and it is knitted in the rounds, by the way. And then you, so knit it in the round from the bottom up, and then you work the cabling as they appear. And when you get to the underarm, that's when you connect the body piece with the 2 sleeves. And then you continue in making the yoke and shaping for the raglan sleeve. And this is a pretty wide neck, but it's not annoying like, I'm sorry, it's annoying to me, but it may be, you know, a style that you prefer, so forgive me for using that word, but kind of like flash dance, where the boat neck is really, really wide and it's like falling off your shoulder like that. It's not my personal preference, but I do like this neckline. It is wide, and I like that my tank top can do a little peekaboo there to, you know, add some casualness to it. But, you know, if I pull it in a little bit, then it's a little bit more hidden. Or maybe I could even, you know, throw a cowl or a scarf or over it or whatever. So you have options in terms of, you know, how you want to wear it and with what, to accessorize. Okay, so I talked about the construction. Oh, the pattern. So it is charted for the cable part. There are a lot of cables. It is not for beginners. It is not advised for beginners. It's for intermediate on up. So the cable